Welcome to today's video, back at Yashio factory to get some more work done on the S15. Today, my focus is gonna be a bunch of fuel system stuff. I'm really excited to show you what we're doing, so let's get inside and get to it. Pretty cool to see a 34 here. Getting some work done, boys are busy as ever. Let's get inside. First of all, before we get to the fuel stuff, I wanna show you a nice package that arrived today for our drivetrain. So you guys know we did the bell housing swap on the CD, I guess, well, it's a CD09, but the 370Z version, and we need a clutch for this. Now, the best thing about the CD09 transmissions or the 350, 370Z transmissions is this spline is identical to like S14 or S13, SR20 clutch kits, as well as S15s too, but you cannot use an S15 clutch kit because the flywheel on the S15 is normally a dual mass flywheel, which is really, really thick. Good example is, I think there's one on the floor here. See how spaced out the flywheel is here for an S15 clutch setup? We don't want that. We need the one that's a normal flywheel kind of thickness. So that's why you go with an S14, S13 setup. And guys at ORC hooked us up with an amazing clutch kit. We're going twin plate, obviously. This thing's planning, I'm hoping, for 500 horsepower, so we need something that puts down some good power. That's what this baby is here. And I checked and made sure that the splines all matched up before. Everything looks good. Clutch is gonna be perfect with this, I think. I'm really excited. First, ORC twin plate. My Chaser has an ORC super single, which sounds like a twin plate, but it's not, it's a single. It's kind of like a, it's like a, it makes everyone think you have a twin plate, but you don't. It's a little bit of a cheat, but works really, really well for the Chaser. So I'm excited to be running a twin plate ORC clutch on the S15. Now, where to get to the boxes of all the really cool Radium and Dishwork stuff over here that we need to put together for the fuel system in the S15. So I've laid out everything that I need to sort out right now for the fuel system, and first thing I want to work out is everything to do with my pumps, surge tank, and I guess fuel tank hat. Now, we're working with Radium on the channel and Dishworks, both incredible companies, and I'm super excited that I got these guys on board to help me out with all my builds. So you're gonna be seeing a lot more of their stuff, and quite frankly, I have never seen anything in this kind of like tier level of quality. Like, it's like God tier, it's incredible. But yeah, first of all, what I need to work out is how to assemble and get everything ready for the hat. I'm not sure if I need to change these fittings over to something that takes AN lines rather than slip-on ones. I think this is more designed for like the factory OEM slip-on hoses. I want to put some AN lines on this to then go to my surge tank, which, by the way, this looks incredible too, because I mean, these things can take 3 pumps. We're not putting 3 pumps in it, we're only putting 2 in there. So there's going to be 1 pump in the tank, 2 pumps in the surge tank here. And just this design is just incredible. I love it. It looks super cool. So this is all going in the trunk. We're going to be running 3 of the Dishworks 300 pumps, so 340 liter per hour pumps. Pretty much everything is here. Like, I can't even get over, like, it comes with quick disconnects, sorry. Like, I'm just mind blown by this. It's so cool. Wait, this slides over these? Shut up, no way. That is so cool. Man, Radium thought of everything. That's so cool. They a lot of thought went into these things. I'm really excited. You can also have dual pumps on these if you want to. You can have 2 instead of 1 if you need to. But I want to have a surge tank because drift cars, you really should have a surge tank. And that just stops any kind of fuel slush issues and starvation issues, especially when you got an expensive engine. So let's, I'm going to start putting this all together, get the surge tank all assembled and everything bolted in. Then I need to work out fittings, lines, and go through all the fittings that I have there from Dishworks as well and try and put everything together and work it out from there. But let's get to it. So time for an update. It's really hard for me to like set up a time lapse to do all this kind of stuff because I'm like going through and just triple checking everything and taking my time. But I have the 2 pumps mounted into the surge tank holder here, and I've got everything wired up here nice as well. Everything's to like the correct length and size, and this is ready to go into the Dishworks surge tank and be closed up and ready for, well, when we need to run power to it. But I've set it up so that we have a stage 1 and a stage 2 pump. Stage 2 pump will only turn on when it is necessary. Most likely the stage 2 pump will only turn on when I'm running the car in E85, when we need that extra fuel flow. And probably only in the high RPMs, but I'm pretty hyped on this setup. Like, it is so well thought out, this stuff. So you can run 3 pumps here if you need to. We're only running the 2. We've got this one blocked off here. Everything was included. it works really cool how this machined like merge collector here comes, all 3 pumps would come into this, and then inside it's machined out so it comes out of that nice big pump out port there. Super good. And I just love the quality of this thing. It's awesome. Also, how the pumps are held is super cool. You have this sleeve here, depending on the size of your pump. I've taken the O-rings out of this one just because I don't want these falling out inside the tank. But if I had a third pump there, and like let's say you had a bit more of a bigger pump, different brands and stuff like that, different sizes, they pretty much have a different sleeve for different size pumps, and it uses O-rings and kind of holds into the pump. That way that it doesn't move around or anything like that inside there. So, and it's not going to fall out because it's not like it can drop out, you know what I mean? And the hose is holding it there, but it's just super cool because it just slips in with O-rings. Even these sleeves like slide into there, and the pump then slides around it. So super cool little design. I love it. And we're going to go slide this thing in here now. It is ready. One little pro tip when you're dealing with fuel pumps is there's this little kind of locking washer that goes over that plastic tip there, that little like thing there, and that holds the net on. You want to be very careful that when you're sliding your pumps in, whether it's a tank or an actual like surge tank collector like this, you want to make sure that you don't knock those, because they can come off pretty easily if you knock them around too much. So we should be good. We're gonna tighten everything down and we should be ready to roll. I've gotten everything tightened up, and I know you're not supposed to run these pumps without any fuel on them, but just to test that they're working, we're just going to touch them on there, and I want to hear what they sound like briefly. And this is my little ghetto setup. Let's just kind of... Oh, that sounds good. And then the next one, just make sure they both work. Nice, that sounds good. Actually, way quieter than I thought it would. I guess because of the O-rings, it kind of dampens the sound a lot too. That's really smart, and there's a rubber seal in this too. So it's probably gonna like dampen a lot of the sound. Actually, I'm really excited about that. That's cool. I just finished putting together the Radium Fuel Hat. I am gonna have to get some fittings off them though, some right angle AN lines that come from the top here to dash 6 and dash 8. So we're sending dash 8 to the fuel rail and dash 6 will be returned. And they have these amazing right angle fittings just like this one. That will go in here so that I can run those lines to then this and then this to the fuel rail. As you can see, Dishworks already looked after me with all of my AN fittings that I am going to need for the fueling system, and there is a lot here. And these actually look super good. I love the anodization on these. They're like that kind of silver color, which is going to really match my fuel line, my braided fuel line. Bunch of P clamps and stuff like that for when we run the lines under the chassis, which is going to make things really nice. They even provided me some of these, which I'll be using, which are like a special adapter for you to connect to a, what's it called? Give me a second, an ethanol content sensor. So we're getting one of those too, because I want this car to be able to run on either ethanol or gas, or well, you know, high octane gas. So this thing is all finished and it went together so well. Once again, I'm still mind blown by just how well thought out these products are. So let me just show you. One, the stays here have little like, I don't know what you'd call this, like little cutouts designed for places for the zip ties to go. Like, no one does that, but these guys do. They thought of it. So that way the zip tie doesn't slide or move around. You have different like points here that you can put it in. The hosing and everything they use is the proper real deal stuff. All the connectors and everything came with it and just plugged right in. I didn't have to do any custom wiring for this. The only custom wiring I'm gonna have to do is I have to change the plug for the fuel sending unit, which is just 2 wires, super easy. And then obviously my wiring for the fuel pumps and everything themselves, which is gonna be a piece of cake, to be honest. I need to redo it anyways, because obviously we're running a lot more pumps, and as you guys know with the S15, I had a lot of issues with the OEM factory wires melting and destroying the hat and the contacts that ran through the hat, the fuel hat. Anyways, I've actually been spending a lot of time helping the guys out on some of the cars here, so I didn't get much more done today. Tomorrow we'll be back and I'll be actually working on the car, putting all of this in and getting stuff laid out, and hopefully we can get some lines done and all that kind of stuff, which will be awesome. It is now the next day and I'm gonna start mounting the surge tank and getting the new fuel hat all installed. And I started going through and sorting through all the fittings and stuff like that and just kind of mapping everything out that I'm going to need. Does seem I'm gonna have to order a couple more fittings. I need a couple more of these -6 ones for the return lines because the return's gonna be -6, but the feed will be -8 all the way to the fuel rail. So the first thing I wanna do is actually see if we're gonna be able to clear this under the parcel shelf in the S15. And that's my mounting position goal. Like, I'd love for it to fit there. If it doesn't, it's not a big deal though. We can mount it somewhere else in the boot, but I'm really hoping. Oh yes, that is exactly what I wanted to see, that it was gonna fit up and in here. Yeah, I don't know though. Just looking at the mounting position, fittings might hit the top once they're screwed in. Okay, I'm gonna test and put some right angle fittings on this and see if they're gonna clear the top. There's not much space up here, so they may not clear. I'd love for it to be there though. If not, it's not a big deal and we can put it, you know, like in the corner down here or something like that. But just I think crash zone wise, like, you know, having my water tank here is okay, but you know, drift cars, crash zones are normally in these corners. So I'd like to try and keep it out of there, and I could try and, you know, mount it here, but that's gonna take up a bunch of my space that I use for, like, you know, putting parts and stuff and tools and things in the car, which is okay. You know, this is probably becoming a little bit less of a street car, but I definitely want to try and mount that up there. So let's see what we can do. So unfortunately, it just started pouring, and due to just space and things like that, I was planning to work on the car in the driveway, so this has kind of ruined my fuel plans for today. I was going to get this on like 4 jack stands and get all the lines run, but we are going to have to somehow rig up a different way of mounting this. Definitely with the fittings on the top here, it doesn't clear the top, and I could cut out some pieces of the parcel shelf to make that work. But Okachan suggested, and he recommended that I put it in this space here. He said that's not a crash zone, and it's very, very difficult, almost impossible. He thinks that this would ever get hit in a big crash with drifting. He says like in the corners, definitely like in this section here for sure, but not up here like close to the wheel well. So we're gonna make like a bracket and everything for it to mount there. But yeah, due to the weather, we're kind of stuck. At the moment, the weather is so bad in Japan because it's rainy season. You just can't believe the weather at all. The weather report will say, you know, sun for the entire day, and then come lunchtime, it's pretty much this. So I do have some other work I can get done today though, and I can keep laying out everything and figuring out all of the fittings and stuff and make sure that I'm not missing anything, so we can just get it all done in one hit. I got the fuel filter put together as well. It's actually my first time ever using one of these style of fuel filters, so I'm pretty excited about it. And the cartridge is like stainless steel and removable, so you can take it out and clean it whenever you need to, which I think is awesome. But that aside, what we do have work to get done on today is the transmission still. I can put the new shifter on. So as you guys know, we're running a CDO9 transmission, and this is the OEM factory shifting position. You may notice it's very long. The shifter's all the way out here, but the shaft that selects the gears that it connects to is like here. Now obviously in a Silvia, if we look at this transmission over here, you can kind of tell that the OEM position is much closer than the 350Z one or the CDO9 transmission. In fact, I got a tape measure here, so let's measure this real quick, right? So from the front of the bell housing here, I'm gonna measure to the shifter. We're looking at about like 93, 94 centimeters. Let's go to the S15 one. This is a 6-speed. I believe this is a Nismo one actually. We'll hold that there. And we're looking at 76. So huge difference there in length. And obviously we want that to not be the case. So if we have this at about where the shift linkage kind of like connects up there, we're looking much closer. So that's what we want. We want it to be roughly around there so it'll fit in the hole. And that's what this kit does. And out of everyone I've spoken to, all my friends that run CDO9 transmissions, all of them have said, don't get any other shifter except the Serial 9 one. It's the best feeling one. These things look incredible. I can't wait to get it on there and feel it inside the car. They come with a bunch of cool stuff in the kit and all the instructions and everything like that, but everything is machined to perfection. In fact, if it doesn't just slide on, you know something's wrong, and to take your time and be careful with it. So I'm going to put a link to these guys down in the description and their shifter. As you guys know, we work with SERIALNINE in the channel with the chaser and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool to see SERIALNINE parts ending up in the S15. And these guys always make the best stuff. My chaser is incredibly amazing in handling, just because of their engine mounts and rear subframe and diff bushes and stuff like that. They make the best stuff, so go check them out and give them some love. And let's jump into this shifter. Just finished taking out all of these bolts. A lot of bolts for something like this, I thought, but this should now kind of pull off. Stretch it off. I feel like it's gonna hit me. Just kind of pull this boot off. And this is what would normally go to the OEM shifter. That is huge. So far away from the transmission. Now what we need to do is tap out these pins here. So there's 2 pins. You want to do the inside one first. It might be very hard to see. There you go, that's a good look. There's an inside one there first, so we've got to tap that out, and then we're going to tap the other one out. And then this whole piece here, this long piece here, will come off. Managed to get the first pin out. Now I'm tapping out the final pin, this guy here. It might be hard to see with that boot there. Just using a punch. There it goes. Now this should slide straight off. Whew. There we go. These kind of locking pins are really cool. Like, you got this one and then this one goes in. They kind of work together to lock in place. And now the new shifter should slide on. Now I'm not sure if I'm meant to keep this boot yet, so I'm going to check that before we put the shifter on. So I went ahead and assembled everything, and it went together so easy. My best advice for you guys, if you get this shifter, is look up the YouTube video from SERIALNINE. It really explains everything really well. But this thing, I'm actually kind of mind blown how this works. So like, this little thing goes on the selector here, and then like this like pin and connects to it, and you like slide it up and in and use the reverse. It's kind of a bit complex and hard to explain, but this thing is awesome. And then you loosen these 3 bolts here, and what you do is you get the transmission like 5th and 6th, and just make sure that you can select those gears without going into reverse, and then you tighten and position this like up until 6th and 5th gear, so that then the only way you can get into reverse is when you push down on the shifter, which is a bit hard to do because the transmission will move on me, but you push down on the shifter and then it'll let you go into reverse. If I don't push down, I can go across into 5th, 6th, no problem. Oh, transmission just keeps trying to tip everywhere. I'm trying to hold it with my foot. But yeah, like I can go to 5th and 6th, no problem, but I can't go over into reverse unless I push down and in. Super cool. Also, the longer shift knob is going to help a lot in giving that kind of like Nissan transmission feel, where you're going to actually like feel like where you're in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. If you have a really short shifter on it, it's kind of harder to know where you're going to be in. Like you don't have much like side throw backwards and forwards like you do in the old transmissions. So with the CD transmission, to get that feeling and kind of knowing what gear you're in, it's very important you have a little bit of a longer shifter, which it seems like SERIALNINE's really thought about that. This is actually really, really cool. I also love the fact that I can put these nice pink bands on here and give it that Yashio look. So it's pretty awesome. The kit is like, it comes with everything you need. I highly recommend one of their shift knobs as well, but you can choose to use whatever shift knob you want. But a nice weighted, tall, long one like this just really makes it feel so much better. So highly recommend their stuff. Once again, their link is in the product, guys. But that is it. Transmission is pretty much ready to go in. I am gonna have to take the shifter off when I put it in as well, but I was super excited and wanted to know what it was gonna feel like. But the best thing is all I have to do is undo these 2 Allen keys here, and this will pop right off. So super easy. But yeah, that's now ready to go in the car. I do need to get an transmission mount for it though, so I need to sort that out. And fuel stuff, well, the rain is still terrible outside, so we'll leave it at that for today. Time to head home, and it stopped raining right as it started getting dark, which sucks. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard not getting depressed seeing that body there and not being able to get any work done. I really want to try and have the car ready for Okajuku Nikko circuit next month on the 25th. I think we got enough time to get it done, but it's all gonna just depend on whether or not we can pull it off in the time frame, and just with all the customers and how busy Okachan is as well, we got to keep that as a priority. So hopefully the weather and just with how busy Okachan is and everything will work out for the next few weeks so that we can start really putting everything together on the S15. It is definitely killing me. Like, I want to get that thing up and running and driving as soon as possible. But obviously we can only do so much with all those things that are stopping us. So hopefully we'll have some more big updates happening. And I know, like, the stuff that I'm doing right now is kind of like all the stuff that I guess not really everyone wants to see. Like, I know it's not going to be the most like entertaining or clickable video, but I know like it's something that a lot of you guys will still want to see and learn about, and you know, just so that you have the experience and know what to do when you do the same thing on your car, or what decisions to make with what parts to use. So anyways, that aside guys, I hope you still enjoyed today's video. I'm gonna head home, have a nice home cooked meal by the wifey, and probably that's it for me. So thanks for watching guys. Smash that like button, write a comment and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out. Ciao mata.